Hello there, my name is Sixo, but more on that later, as now it's time for today's Toy of the Week video. So this is actually the 7th video in this series, and I have said before that I never really intended for it to be all about Generation 1, or indeed vintage toys as a whole. So with that in mind, today we're going to mix it up a little bit. Now, I've had a couple of people commenting on previous videos suggesting that we take a look at some Beast Wars toys. Sadly, I've sold on a lot of my original figures, although it is a toy line that I still love, and honestly I can see myself coming back to it one day. But for now, I'm just really excited about the Beast Wars releases that we're getting in the Masterpiece line. So with that in mind, today we're going to be taking a look at Masterpiece MP-34 Cheetor. So let's go ahead and see what this toy is all about, but a bit of a spoiler alert if you've never seen Beast Wars or Beast Machines, yeah? Masterpiece Cheetor was released in February 2017 and was the second Beast Wars release for the Masterpiece line after the Optimus Primal design from the year prior. The toy is a highly cartoon-accurate representation of the lovable Maximal feline as shown in the 1996 Mainframe TV show, and depicts Cheetor in his original Season 1 form. There, Cheetor is among the small group of Maximals that crash land on what eventually transpires to be prehistoric Earth, and decide to adopt organic beast modes as a means of surviving the high levels of energon deposits on the planet at that time.
Cheetor! Maximize! Time for this cat to bounce!
As his tortured pun of a name rather unsubtly suggests, he takes on the alternate form of a cheetah, and seemingly chooses his new moniker as a result, although it's never made clear why the Maximals do this, nor indeed what their names were before.
No, I'm Cheetor!
Cheetor is depicted as the immature and reckless adolescent of the group, with his hot-headed nature regularly meaning that he leaps into action before fully understanding the consequences, something which often requires the other Maximals to dig him out of trouble. Still, his youthful exuberance also makes Cheetor fiercely loyal and steadfastly principled, remaining fully committed to the Maximal cause and willing to put himself in harm's way for the good of his teammates or the mission as required. We do eventually see him grow up over the 3 seasons of the initial cartoon and beyond into Beast Machines, where he eventually takes on much more of a leadership role before fully assuming command by the end of the series. The character is consistently portrayed by legendary voice actor Ian James Corlett, who had previously made a name for himself on shows such as Dragon Ball Z, amongst many others. Ian has regularly kept engaged with the Transformers fandom both online and in person by making appearances at a number of conventions. On a personal note, I was delighted recently when he shared one of my photos of the Masterpiece Cheetor toy online. Quite the honour. Considering how popular the Beast Wars cartoon has become, it's fair to say that toys like this have a lot of expectation riding on them, and for the most part, it's great to see that MP-34 lives up to that hype. The robot mode is spot on to the appearance of the character as we know him on screen, taking advantage of the well-defined computer-generated animation model, versus how G1 Masterpiece toys need to interpret the inconsistent nature of the 1980s cartoon. Every angle of the robot mode has clearly been taken into account, with a surprisingly tidy appearance no matter which way you display the toy. That yellow, gold and blue colour scheme is particularly eye-catching, made even better by how crisply the paint has been applied. In fact, the level of detail overall here is really something, with little touches such as the Maximal symbol on his head crest being quite amazingly intricate. It's also worth noting how well the designers have interpreted the texture of the source animation, as the toy is sporting fuzzy black spots that give a tangible sense of the character in his 3D rendered form. It's one of those features that needs to be seen in hand to be fully appreciated. As one would expect from the Masterpiece line, Cheetor is also a pleasingly posable figure, with the articulation available being more than enough to have you recreating scenes from the cartoon, or just having fun putting him through his paces. Cheetor features 3 different robot faces, which can be easily swapped out using a simple peg solution within his head. As well as his default expression, you can give him a big smile or have him looking slightly angry, although all of them recall the character's likeness to a T. In terms of other accessories, he's equipped with 2 handheld guns, including his infamous gut gun, which the character regularly uses in the cartoon. It's so cool because it features a section of beast mode entrails on the top, something the animation interpreted from the original toy itself. The other weapon is made out of the beast mode tail and rear section, and was also seen in the cartoon, although to a much lesser extent. This second blaster is more tricky to place securely in the figure's hand, but still works a treat overall. Before transforming Cheetor into his beast form, it's worth noting the further attention to detail the designers have afforded the cat head adorning his chest, which is of course a fake part intended to portray his robot mode accurately. It features the same squished proportions as shown on the character's animation model, and allows for this version to have orange eyes instead of the green seen on the actual beast mode. The transformation itself is nothing too arduous for a masterpiece toy, and leaves us with a fairly stunning rendition of the character's cat form in plastic glory. It ably recalls to life the lithe proportions and flexible form of the cartoon model, featuring a significant range of articulation in all four legs, which enables you to pull off any number of pliable poses. As with the robot mode, the cheetah form features 3 different swappable faces for a range of different emotions, all of which feel like the designers have brought the animation to life with aplomb. The beast mode jaw can also be adjusted, and there are even posable whiskers and moving eyes that mean the display options for this toy are endless. I'm always loath to say that any given toy looks like they've just stepped off the screen, but in this case it may be true. Sadly, MP-34 isn't quite perfect, and does have a couple of small flaws. The robot kibble on the rear beast legs is certainly quite noticeable, although it's arguably a small compromise given how cohesive the rest of the form is. Additionally, the robot mode shoulders need great care to avoid any unnecessary damage, although a subsequent reissue of the toy featured a significant redesign that fixed this problem. Overall though, this is a stunning figure and a great representation of the character as we know him from the cartoon. It also does a great job at bringing the original 1996 Cheetor toy up to date, given how close the animation model was to that figure in the first place. Additionally, the masterpiece toy has been repainted into MP-34S Shadow Panther, which features a highly attractive black, silver and yellow colour scheme that shows off this mould very differently. That toy pays homage to the original vintage mould by featuring an updated version of the mutant mask, an alternate head gimmick that many of the initial 1990s Beast Wars toys were known for. Shadow Panther is also sporting a pair of accessories meant to depict the communications device Cheetor is wearing in the cartoon episode The Web. Of course, these inclusions can be used on MP-34 himself, should you wish. At this point, it's worth mentioning how much fun the recent crop of Beast Wars masterpiece toys have consistently been, considering that it caused some uproar when it was first revealed that these designs were going to be included in the MP roster. They've turned out to become some of the very best figures we've received over the last few years, and I for one couldn't be happier to see so many of the beloved characters from the CGI cartoon recreated in such wonderful detail. Here's hoping it continues for a long time to come. So what else is there for me to say? Well, I guess it's worth pointing out that I do understand that Beast Wars isn't everyone's cup of tea, but even objectively it's hard to look at these recent masterpiece releases and think that they aren't a bit of a success in many ways. I guess it helps that the cartoon was CGI animated, but even then it's just incredible to see these characters brought to life so accurately. And yeah, people will always say that the beast modes have a bit of kibble on them or what have you, but really it's a small price to pay for what are some of the best engineered toys I think I've seen in a long time. It makes me really excited for the upcoming MP-50 Tigertron, and beyond that I just really hope to see stuff like Transmetals and Fusors given the same treatment. Anyway, as far as Cheetor goes, I think he's honestly one of the best looking toys I've seen in recent years, and if you're a fan of the cartoon then I doubt you'll be disappointed with him. He's still quite readily available, so I'll just go ahead and put the link to TF Source's listing in the video description in case he takes your fancy, but if not then I hope you at least enjoy the gallery of photos. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, and if you haven't yet, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and maybe check out some of my other videos whilst you're at it. Quick final shout out to everyone who supports me on Patreon. The details are coming up at the end of the video, so of course if you'd like to do the same, it's really appreciated. That's it from me. Enjoy the rest of your day, stay alert, and TTFN.